win.
One more question, brother. What do you know about chemtrails?
Oh, I know a lot
Solar
about
geoengineering. Please tell me more.
Oh, of course. I used to do protests against it a long time ago. So stratospheric aerosol geoengineering, something interesting when people say, do you have evidence? I'm from Canada, and in Canada they have the Environment Canada geoengineering agenda, which is on the government websites. They admit that they're doing this. And in 2020, in March 2020 and April 2020, something very interesting was that the United Nations admitted on their website that they're working with the government of Spain to spray the skies with heavy metals to combat COVID, they said. Well, what's one of the number one causes of loss in taste and smell? Remember that? Well, it just happens to be heavy metals, and they were spraying vast amounts of it in the skies of Spain. It's on the Spanish government website, it's on the United Nations website, and to believe that it wasn't happening everywhere else is absurd. So, again, this is all a manufactured crisis, and they hope that we become compliant slaves to it. And chemtrails have been happening since the 1940s, 1967, it stepped up, 1997, it became a whole new deal, and I remember as a child looking at beautiful blue, deep blue skies, and now we have haze, and all you have to do is set up a time-lapse camera at the sky when you see them spraying and watch what happens over the hours. You go from sunny day to a smoggy, depressing day. Yeah, and it also, when you block out the sun, you make people less happy, you make people less passionate and more apathetic. So, again, we have this happening across the world. There's nowhere I've been in the world where I don't see some form of spraying. And it's one of the things that we have to combat, because they're probably spraying other things than just strontium, barium, and aluminum.
Plutonium,
yeah,
barium,
yeah,
aluminium,
yeah,
maybe graphite.
Yeah, graphite, and they have nasal sprays now for mRNA injections. So I don't want to make it sound hopeless, but it does seem like that is what they're doing. They're spraying the general public. They're putting it in our food. They're putting mRNA food. They've already found traces of mRNA in a lot of food throughout the United States and Canada, for example, where there's traces, and suddenly we see people who are on carditis at higher rates, and it's just happened in the last few months. And so we have to also look at that, and it's another good reason to be independent as far as food goes. Have chickens, have storable food, have seeds, because they're poisoning it, and in the future it's going to be harder to find heirloom seeds. It's going to be harder to find organic food. It's going to be harder to actually solve these problems. So the time is now to solve it, and we are on the cusp of history, and we should all be proud that we get to build the bright new civilization. We're alive in a time that's difficult, but we are so blessed to be alive in this time, in a time where we can actually be the ones that write the books, but we can only write those books if we get prepared today.
Perfect, brother.
I appreciate it.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, you can find me at World Alternative Media. I'm on Band.video, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, Brighteon, Rockfin, all those. World Alternative Media. My name is Josh Sigurdsson, and you'll find me screaming at the Prime Minister of Canada. You'll see me confronting a lot of politicians and doing my best on a daily basis to get the truth out just like you are.
Can I ask one more